In our final segment, I want to jump right in, and I want to talk to Elizabeth and Libby and talk about how can educators get involved with the creation and implementation of micro-credentials, and what are some of micro-credential projects taking place in South Carolina, and what supports are offered by mcrED.
Yeah, so right now, the way our system works is that educators will need to ask their school, their district, or their organization to offer these micro-credentials for personalized professional learning. We do not sell micro-credentials to individual educators. We strongly believe that this is our purpose and that we are meant to provide these, and that the state is meant to provide these, and the districts. And we believe that there has to be strategy involved with these micro-credentials, just simply to maintain the integrity of them and to extend the learning. And for that to happen, we don't believe at this time that educators should pay for that experience. So that's one way that our program, mcrED as a whole, is unique. And so if an educator is interested in this, or if there are school or district leaders that are listening out there and would like to contact us, they can contact CarolinaCrED through our website and reach out to us to get more information, schedule a quick Zoom or a quick meeting. We also started offering engage sessions. So our tagline is engage, equip, elevate. And so the first part of that is to engage. So the districts and the organizations come to us and they learn about micro-credentials and they strategize how to implement them in their own professional learning system at their school. And the really unique part of those engage sessions is we ask them to bring certain people to the table, people that normally don't gather around that table. A human resources director, a professional learning coordinator, a classroom teacher, a coach, an administrator. And people leave going, I would have never sat at this table with these people in my district because of our busy schedules. And bringing them together really gave them a lot of input, and a lot of thought goes into that professional learning and how that works. So just to I'll be quick to give you a few examples of the projects that are going on in South Carolina right now. We have a district that has been really intentional about working with their reading instructional coaches to start the process, to say, okay, how will this work? Let's start with them and let's figure out. They have, one foot over here with classroom teachers and learning communities, and then they have another foot involved with the district and school leadership. So we feel like that's a really strong way to approach it. We also have a district focus on math instruction. So they're using math micro-credentials to calibrate and figure out where they are with their teachers. The South Carolina Association for Middle-Level Educators, SCAMLE, they're providing micro-credentials to their members and offering pre-conference sessions to help them get started. Our South Carolina Writing Improvement Network, they have decided to revamp their whole mission and position in South Carolina. And instead of having a more traditional professional development, they are shifting to personalized professional learning experiences that they can offer. Of course, our very own Carolina CAP program that we're so proud of, they give alternative certification candidates the opportunity to demonstrate competencies in a lot of different areas, but also specific to the 4.0 rubric indicators, because we know that that's going to be how they're evaluated, and demonstrating those competencies is important. And then we have a district that's focusing on literacy, the science of learning, science of reading, to figure out where they stand in the process, and working with their reading coaches and working with people in their district to determine what they need next. And there are some great things happening in the South Carolina Department of Education. I'm going to let Libby, she has so much experience in that area. I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about that.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm so excited to talk about this work. Having just recently retired from the Office of Educator Effectiveness and Leadership Development, where I was for 7 years, micro-credentials have been a part of that conversation since I was there. And so what happened at the Office of Educator Effectiveness and Leadership Development is we talked about how we could begin to experience and have this opportunity available to our educators that we serve through 4 of our programs. We have other programs, but these 4 were identified as kind of leading the way out of that office with getting experience in the work of micro-credentials and the power that they have to transform professional learning for our educators. So just to go through those, we have the Principals Induction Program is for first-year principals, and they have been involved in completing micro-credentials since we brought that to part of their coursework that they do through the office at the State Department. We also have another group that has extensive experience in micro-credentials, and that's our Leadership Enrichment and Development, and we call it our LEAD program from the Office of Educator Effectiveness and Leadership Development. And then it was really interesting when we branched out to having this experience available to the Institute of District Administrators. And so another program that utilizes the process of micro-credentialing in the program is in the area of the district administrators. And so that's where we learned a lot about how you would be able to offer a micro-credential for a classroom teacher, but also how does that work for somebody that's in a district administrator position. And then we are starting our state at the State Department of Ed, our 5th year of the Micro-Credential Academy. And the Micro-Credential Academy is opened up to any educator. Once the invitation and memo goes out, you do not have to be in the programs that I mentioned, PIP or LEAD or IDA. That's available to any educator through our Micro-Credential Academy, and you just follow through with the orientation and become a part of the Micro-Credential Academy. And those are just some of the key ones that have been going on, but we also, as Elizabeth mentioned, the Office of Personalized Learning also has a huge offering that they partner with mcrED with the Office of Personalized Learning.
Yeah, absolutely. The Office of Personalized Learning, they have about 1,800 micro-credentials that they are basically giving away to teachers across the state. They're just, going into classrooms, going into schools, meeting and learning communities and offering these as part of their professional learning. So that's been very powerful, I think, as well. And not only are they purchasing the micro-credentials, they're also developing those. They were like, hey, we want to be on board. We even co-branded them. We're like, hey, jump on board. This isn't all about CarolinaCrED, mcrED, just us. It's about the state, and it's about linking together and making those connections so that we can help educators grow.
That's so good. So who's ready for another food reference? Proof is in the pudding.
I'm hungry. Are they setting it up?
Proof is in the pudding. I think this segment really highlighted what is being done. So if there's a teacher or administrator that is a little familiar, not really familiar, y'all have really just laid it out about what is going on in South Carolina right now, even by the numbers that Janet talked about, but the actual programs, the groups that are taking part in it. And I'm excited about PSTA's involvement in micro-credentials too. And so that's such a big thing for us. And what we wanted to do is just educate teachers, not just PSTA members, but all educators in the state about micro-credentials and why they're so important and timely in this, where we are in education right now. And I'm so thankful that all of you were able to share your expertise with us today. And I apologize for my multiple food references, but I like food.
Mm-hmm.
But we do want to gather some contact information from you. And so I'm going to ask Stephanie to provide some contact information before we wrap up today, because I know there are so many teachers out there that want to get involved, or even just to get more information.
Well, thank you, Craig. And we really appreciate the opportunity to gather with you today and to share with your listeners a little bit about the stories that we can tell and the wonderful things we're doing in the state. Micro-credentials are unique and growing, and it's a great time to get involved with them. If you'd like to learn more about micro-credentials and CarolinaCrED, please email us at CarolinaCrED, that's CarolinaCred @sc.edu, or visit us online at CarolinaMcrED, CarolinaMcred.org. We're also on social media at LinkedIn and Twitter at CarolinaCrED. So please follow us. Please join us in the journey that we're sharing with our partners and our educators in the state.
Thank you, Stephanie. And before we go, does anyone want to give a shout out to where we are currently recording this podcast? This place is amazing, and so we want to make sure that we give them a big shout out about where we are in case someone out there listening could use their services.
I would love to do that, Craig. Our friends at Young Office at 1104 Shop Road allow us to use amazing learning spaces at no charge, and they will offer that to any educational entity. If you call Young Office and ask to use one of their rooms, they will not charge you. And this is just a fabulous showroom because they have furniture that is designed around how people learn. And so there are a lot of interesting spaces here. And so I do want to give a shout out and appreciate the opportunity to thank our friends at Young Office.
Yes, thank you, Young Office. Great space here. Definitely enjoyed being here. Thank you, all of you, for joining us today. So excited. We have so much information, and don't worry, we're going to split this up so it's available to you on the PSTA Podcast. This has been another impactful episode of the PSTA Podcast. I am Craig King, your host. Take care.